Scientists unite, tourists of a Vengi in the
Math scientist.
Hello guys, welcome to the tutorial on the Pandas library. Now, what is Pandas? Pandas is basically a library used to analyze data for fields like data science, for AI development, for any situation, maybe even just financial systems where you want to analyze data, you want to visualize data, and you want to. So, how do we use Pandas? That's what we're here to talk about today. So, what's the relevance? So without in this day and age, data is the most valuable thing. Said been said multiple times. It's been said all over the place. Data is very valuable, and analyzing data is a very important skill in this day and age. In order to get into fields like AI, to get into fields like data science, to get into fields any main big fields will analyze things like data, even big data and stuff like that. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to make this code available in the description, and I'm just going to explain how it works. So in this situation, we're going to open an Excel CSV file, and we're going to analyze the data in the Excel. Now this is the Excel file. In this situation, it looks a bit strange, but it has three columns: items, cost price, and selling price. So these are the items names like Q3 tracks, flex connector, S-trap, PVC pipe. These are the cost prices 1, 0,4, 1,5, 4, 1,8 going in this second part. And these are the selling prices 1,5, 1,5, 5. So this is the what it looks like when viewed in the Visual Studio. But this is what it actually looks like in Excel. Okay, so it's items, cost price, selling price, and these are the names of the items. These are the cost prices. And as you can see, there are some places where there are no values added. There are now values. Okay, we're going to show you how to deal with those in a bit. So what is the first part doing? So this is the line we're using to read our CSV file. So firstly, we imported our pandas library by saying import pandas as pd, which basically means that we want to use the functions inside pandas, but each time we're calling the pandas library, we're referring to it with the name pd. So what pandas data type it works with usually is called a data frame. So each time we're using the functions, we're assuming that we're using something called a data frame. So read CSV takes the Excel file and changes the data into a data framework. A data frame. So this is I've just named it df, which is short for data frame. So it's go to pd.read CSV. So what is this? This is the name. You can see this is the name of the file. Updated combined inventory data. This is the name of the file we're going to be analyzing. Now, don't worry about the encoding for now. For most of all your codes, it will probably work without this encoding part, but they're just different types of encodings that files have. Usually, the default one is UTF-8 or Latin one, but this time this file wasn't in UTF-8, and it's the only one I had available. It's encoded in ISO 88519-88519-1. So I had to specify what the encoding is in this specific situation. But usually, if it's in UTF-8, which is the norm, just open without you having to specify encoding. So this will be unnecessary. Okay. So what's it going to do first? It's going to print that the data has been loaded successfully. Then it's going to print the data. Okay, let's see that then works. Okay, so we're dealing with this first part here. So the data dot head, what it does is it prints the first 5 rows. It's just printing only the first 5 rows. This is the first one. The rows with the topics count as a row as well. I'm sorry, it doesn't count as a row. These are the 5 rows that is printing. Okay, and where there were no values, it's writing NaN, which basically means there's a null value. Okay, but we can print the whole thing. We could just say print F. Okay, if we say print df, is just printing the whole thing from the first row to the last row. This is the 86th row. Okay, but we can just go back to df. We just want a summary of what it looks like. Okay, this is the go back to the 5 rows. Okay, so what is it doing again? With df.shape, what basically df.shape does, it gives us back the structure of our data frame. So this 87 is representing, as you have seen, I said the last row was row 86, and it's starting to count from 0. So it's representing that there are 87 rows, and our columns there are 3 columns. This one doesn't count. This one is automatically there, the raw numbers, but these ones count. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So we have 87 rows and we have 3 columns. That's what this is. That's what df.shape just gives us back what the rows and the columns are. Okay, so we're down to we're selecting a single column. So when you're dealing with the data, you might want to just extract specific columns. Maybe that's all you want to deal with, or at the time that's all you're dealing with. So we have to specify which column we're going to be talking about. Maybe even print it one at a time. So I've just created a variable called column. Then with the df variable, which is the data frame, we're specifying the name of the column we want to interact with. So in R, as I said in the Excel, there's a column called item. So we're writing df item to get the information in the item column. Then we're printing that same information. That is what's happening. So you see that in this situation is different from this one, in that it only has the names of the products. It doesn't have the cost price or the selling price. So it just has the item name. Okay, then down to the next part. This is the iLook, df.iLook. So this one, let's go down to wait. So this one was these 2 items. Okay, so with iLook. So with in this situation, we're specifying how many rows basically you want to. Whenever in Python you see this colon and the 5 is basically meaning from the beginning to whatever the value I'm putting. So if I say iLook colon 5, that just means I'm printing from the 0th to the 5th. So we can change this maybe even to the 8th. Now, once I change the 8th, now has 8 different values from 0 to 7. So that's basically what iLook does. It returns the rows. Okay, so it's different from head. Head only displays the first 5. It didn't have any inputs. It just displays the first 5 rows. Whilst iLook, you can specify what rows you want to specify, or you want to print, and from where to where. So I can even say to 8. If I say 2 to 8, you see that it's starting to print at 2 and ending at 7 and ending at 7. So that's the difference between iLook. So iLook, you can extract a okay. And the next part we're going to talking about renaming any columns in your data. So and this could be important. Maybe you just downloaded the data frame, a data. You've just downloaded data from the internet. You want to specify it to what you are doing. Maybe it was price. Maybe you want to rename it to something else. You can rename each column into whatever you want. So in this situation, we're just renaming the item column into things. And as you can see on the code that was running from this point to this point, the name of the column changed from item things. That's basically what that's doing. It's after column renamed, every time item is now renamed to things. Now this is a very important one, which is dealing with missing values with a specified missing values in your data framework. So with the usually with data is not really perfect. We have to do, especially in stuff like AI and data analysis, we have to do pre-processing. Data pre-processing is basically making your data standard, making it work basically. Because with missing values, you can't really do much with it. You have to remove any unnecessary data. You have to remove any now values or make them make sense at least. Instead of being now values, give them a default value. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So this df.info, this will take all now values and replace them with a zero. So we're just saying in place two means in all those places where they are now values, we're going to replace it with a zero. As you can see, in this situation, this was NaN, which we say it represents now, and down here it is 0 0.00, 0.0, which represents, which is has been replaced by with this 0. Okay, so this is missing values. So it replaced all the now values with 0. So I think that's all for today. That's all the important most important functions you can use in pandas. Those are not the only ones, but those are very important ones, and we just wanted to introduce them